Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stickity Stacks in this thing, baby, representing TKOG, and today I'm coming at you guys with some DB action. Normally, I play more tournaments on DB, I feel like, than at locals. I go to locals, you know, still, but DB, I feel like if you're trying to hustle and get you some good cards and make you some good money, you know, if you're a good enough player, I feel like you should just, all you really want to do until in real life tournaments come back, unless you just like the feel of locals, which I do too, is just play money matches and play luxury gaming tournaments and play scroll and lock gaming tournaments. That's what I do, and it's pretty much an investment of your time, which comes out to, you're basically trading time for money. So it's like you can just hustle. So that's why I would definitely recommend doing this. This currently is a droplets tournament. I got second place in this one. I got second place in the one before, and then I won the one before that. So I've got first. The last ones I've been in, well, the last few ones I've been in, there was one that I just lost the first round. But out of the last four, I got first place on one and second place on the other two. And the fourth one, I literally just lost the very first round. I didn't even get far at all. But so far, I've been doing really good on these with my dolls. So this is actually going to be SHADDOLL invoked with dogs. I'm just going to call it SHADDOLL invoked, though, versus DRAGONLINK. This guy is pretty solid as a player. We ended up playing again in the finals, I think. I played this guy twice. But yeah, if you guys have not already subscribed to the channel, I highly recommend that you do subscribe, especially if you already are watching my videos. You know, you're doing me a disservice, and you're pretty much doing yourself a disservice if you watch a channel more than once or often, even if it's a few times a week, and you're not subbed. You're pretty much missing out. So you might as well sub, like and comment if you actually like the video and you have something to say. Comment. I recommend also, if you want to support my channel, join the Discord group. Become a Patreon member. You know, it only takes $3 to get started with Patreon, and you'll already get benefits nobody else can get. But with all that said, let's start this replay. So fast forward here. Yeah, I won RPS. What it's looking like to me. Opening hands. Wow. His hand was. This works. Like, this certainly works. You could actually just space for Wyver here. And just banish Wyver, server black, and then space back the Wyver, draw a card. That works. This right here is combo. The Nocto is an extender, talents, and Phantasma. His hand's it's pretty neat. It works in more ways than one. My hand, I have a couple dolls and both fusions and a terraforming. So it almost doesn't get better than this, because technically, if I didn't have a second fusion outlet, Nadir Servant would have been good. Because I personally, when I played SHADDOLLs, I like to end on more than just way to interact on my opponent's turn, which is like, if I have to pick one to play it safe, a lot of the times I go for L. A lot of people go for Schism. But I just have such respect for Ghost Bell and Cosmic. If I can't afford to get extra resources to fuse, then I have to go for Schism. But if I have, like, this hand has extra dolls, I would 100% prioritize L if this were my only fusion outlet. But you guys are going to see how I play my hand out. I do think SHADDOLL players need to get a little bit smarter with playing around things that Schism loses to. Like, basically, smart SHADDOLL players and people that aren't as good with the deck definitely need to start prioritizing this card a lot more. This should be priority number 1. Schism's priority number 2, but people have it backwards and they think Schism's so important. And it is a great card, but it has every weakness like that SHADDOLLs naturally would have. A lot of it comes from Schism when you focus too much on Schism, and that's how a lot of people lose games they didn't have to lose if they just would have went for L. But that's another topic for another day. So we're going to normal summon Ali. So this is already full combo. When you have Ouster, a Fusion, and a Doll, it's pretty lit because you can set up Kaligo Winda if you want to. I think this hand, I set up Makaba Winda. And you guys see here, I sent Windy. Normally, if I don't have a way to recover, like let's say this hand was L SHADDOLL Fusion and SHADDOLL Fusion wasn't there and I had to use L, I normally would send SHADDOLL Core to add L to my hand and then use Construct to add Schism back, so I have both plays. But since I opened SHADDOLL Fusion, I use this one. And also, now this being engraved is also a threat to him. I like this. It's like a pseudo Mag C, because now that they know I have access to it, they're going to play differently and structure their entire play around breaking the board and trying to set up a way to deal with SHADDOLL Fusion at the same time while trying to find a way to outwin the. This deck can be pretty obnoxious when you open really well with it. And play your cards right, even if you don't open well. So you guys see I set Squamata because Squamata is the best SHADDOLL to fuse with on your opponent's turn, without a doubt. You can't even argue it. It's just Squamata's the best to fuse with. It's the entire deck. It gives you all the utility you need. If you need to change your mind on what you want to fuse with, you don't ever have to worry about changing your mind with what you want to fuse with when you have Squamata, because he will dump anything that you could have possibly summoned off Windy. Squamata can dump anyways. So it always works out. That's another good piece of advice I can give to you guys. If you're trying to play this deck, when you're setting up for L, you always want Squamata. So you can have Aerial when you need it, Dragon when you need it, Beast when you need it, Hog, the whole deck, including sending Core to immediately add Shadoll Fusion to your hand if your opponent's like just playing around it, right? So ending board this could have been Kaliga. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it could have been Kaliga, but Makaba's nice too. Makaba's cool, but I think in hands where I can't end with a spell and trap in hand, I feel that I should just pick Kaliga, because to be honest, Makaba's just one monster negate, whereas Kaliga is literally like a pseudo. It's almost like a pseudo VFD. So I feel moving forward, things that I need to do to structure my plays differently is, if I can only end with monsters in hand, I should just summon Kaliga. There's no reason to not, because a monster negate versus a literal like VFD practically it's not gonna be better. So I personally feel I should have done differently. The only thing that could change what Makaba negates is when I fuse with my Squamata, I could send Core and use Core to add Shadoll Fusion back to my hand so that I can have it as a spell to negate with Makaba. So that's the only thing that I could do, but I'll have to do a little bit of extra steps to get that spell negate, and my opponent probably could have already, example, activated their powerful spells already. So only thing I could have done differently on my turn was go Kaliga. But anyways, moving forward to his turn, he's going to send Lancia. He's main decking Lancia and Phantasme like most people are. You guys see on Reds I go Schism, because when I see that he already has one of his Chaos guys, I Schism immediately. So now he either is like, I special this or I don't. So if he doesn't have a powerful normal summon in his hand, he's in a position where Winda being up before he even has special summon one time is a problem. Whereas in certain hands with DRAGONLINK, when you summon Winda too early, they can out it by summoning Red MD or Levianeer, for example, when you don't have Alistair in hand, obviously. But it's different when one, you know that they have the Chaos cards, and two, they don't have enough engraved for Levianeer. So I decided to go ahead and scope into the Winda immediately, and I kept my backup play for Winda just in case. But I also need to get rid of this Phantasme so that I don't have to worry about wasting an Alistair. So I send him, he chained, and then he's going to summon his Chaos guy and pass. The Tracer dies because it was summoned off Quick Launch. Normal Ali, he scoops. I mean, to be honest, that hand definitely beats DRAGONLINK in more ways than one. It just beats them in the long run. Just having access to not only multiple windows, but your choice of an Invoked Fusion is almost every single time game, unless they drew Dark Ruler and Droplets and full combo, and you don't get follow-ups. Because when they Dark Ruler Droplets you, you'll still have Shadoll Fusion and the resources that you got when you fused, and you'll still have Schism. So they have to Dark Ruler Droplet you, and they have to Levianeer pop your Schism first before they kill your fusions, and then they have to play around Shadoll Fusion. So it's still a lot of work even when they can out both windows. That's why I personally feel this is the best deck. So he has 2 normal summon starters, but this does work because Red MD can summon safer. He has talents, he has Cosmic, again, and I don't know if he mains it or sides it, but I play around this card like crazy. This card and Twin Twisters, and then he has Black, so his hand is pretty nuts, actually. It's pretty nuts, going first or second. I'm just shuffling like a madman with my hand, as you guys can see. I think he's going for a more conservative route here. Yeah, now I'm looking at it. He's gonna go Seal. So maybe he kept Black Metal for a follow-up and he didn't want to overcommit, because I'm pretty sure this is not full combo. This is like half combo, but it's still good enough. Especially with my hand. You guys see my hand, I forgot to talk about, but if he has any negate, which he's going to have, I can't really play. So the only chance I had was to draw a spell or trap for Golden Lord to force Savage out, and then activate L. So, fast forward here. So now he has Cosmic Cyclone, Tidying, Heavenly Spheres, and Savage. And against this hand, that's enough. I top deck Super Pulley, so let's talk a little bit about this, because I actually, moving forward, there's a line of play, there's 2 lines of plays that I could have made. And the one I made was incorrect, and that was actually activating the Super Pulley. I'll tell you guys why in a second. So, when you have El Shaddol Fusion, already this card is going to enable you to play around so much, including cards like Tidying and Seal, right? But you need one other play starter for this to be as impactful as it can be going second. I drew that. Now, one thing that I did that I shouldn't have done, which I don't think it would have changed. I would have structured my plays differently. I don't think it would have changed a lot, but it definitely would have got me farther. Is like, see how I'm going to activate Super Poly. You guys are going to see. But I feel if I just use Golden Lord, for example, I just activate Golden Lord to send himself in Super Poly and basically be able to remove the counter or the negate off Savage, and then I can activate L, I still would get farther than I got now. So you guys are going to see. I'm just going to fast forward. So I set Falco, I Super Poly sending Lord, and then here you guys see I pressured him by sending SHADDOLL Fusion. Now, when I do this against DRAGONLINK, I do it all the time because it forces their bounce normally. In fact, not even normally, it always does because they don't want to waste their Savage, right? You'd rather hold the negate for the last play that you can possibly hold it for and just use the bounce. So he bounced my construct, and now you guys are going to see where his bounce and his negate is enough to both stop me from getting access to SHADDOLL Fusion and also getting activating L. The only thing that could have changed is if I fused with Squamata in the first place. Because by fusing with Squamata, I can send Core and SHADDOLL Fusion, and that will allow me to access SHADDOLL Fusion whether he negates Core or not. He will basically throw more resources at me, and I'll be able to activate L. And at the end of the day, I'll be able to chain L, fuse off Construct at this back anyways. So this is going to be really good, but I have to work with what my hand is. So he's going to Tidying, I chain L, he negates, and that ends my turn. So I'm telling you guys right now, I can't win with this face down beast. With the amount of follow-ups that I know DRAGONLINK can get, I can't win. So this is just a matter of time that he just needs to accumulate enough on board to go for game. I normally, in these kind of matches, I don't just scoop. I'd be like, you have to show me that you have game, because if you don't, then I know I have another turn. I feel like it's just a good thing to practice. You might as well, because there's no time limit on these, so why would you scoop? Just at least see if your opponent can get game. And if they can't, at least you know you have another turn. So clearly he has game. He's going to pop my guy. I drew droplets. That was nice. So you guys, so I don't think, no matter what, even drawing the Super Poly, because of how my hand was, the way my hand was set up, the way that bank account was set up, I really don't know how far I was going to get. But I think I might have been better off with using Lord to force the Savage. But at the end of the day, it was just a lot to deal with only 2 play starters. Even though Super Poly is amazing, it really is. It's really difficult with that kind of composition of hand to deal with multiple interruptions. Specifically, one of them being a bounce. SHADDOLLs don't mind playing through negates, but the bounce is what really can hurt sometimes. So he has Phantasme, Tidying, Levy, Alpha, and Router. So I did something really cool with this hand. Most of you, and I'm telling you right now, most of you, including in the comment section, would see this hand and automatically activate El SHADDOLL Fusion and summon Construct, and you guys would, you know what you'd do? You'd dump Schism and you'd summon Gravity Controller and add Schism. I'm telling you right now, don't even try to change your mind after I said that. You know that this is you. Here's what I did. Set Super Poly, set L, and pass. Do you know why? Because this plays into no hand traps. This plays around Cosmic. I feel like I probably should have set the second copy of L, but I needed this to be my discard for Super Poly because these were my fusion cards. So this helps to kind of mitigate the Cosmic to a large extent. This doesn't play into any hand traps, and now the only thing that he could telegraph that I could possibly have to play on his turn is L. Even him seeing Super Poly, he wouldn't worry about it too much because I don't have anything right now. But so my idea with this hand was I drew a subpar hand. So I decided to play conservative, let him play into Nibiru because DRAGONLINK always does pretty much. And if he doesn't play into Nibiru, I'm not going to lose. So I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to nip him, right? He's going to play through it. More than likely, they always do. And then look I also played around Alpha to a large extent. So what I did was not only smart, but I kind of really mitigated a lot of cards in his hand. Examples are Phantasme. But if I would have done what I'm telling you, and I'm just saying because I've seen so many SHADDOLL players, and I don't think that they all are necessarily the same quality or caliber of players. A lot of them are in the same kind of tier, in my opinion. They're like tier 2. But I would say like tier 2.5. But I would have played into Phantasme, and I would have played into Alpha. So guess what? If I would have activated El SHADDOLL Fusion and Summon Construct on my turn, I would have lost. I would have gave him better draws, and I wouldn't be able to deal with Alpha by just going for Schism. Now, and I'm telling you, if I didn't explain myself, I know how people are. People would drop a comment right now like, Wow, that Shaddoll player is bad. He didn't go for Schism. You're not bad just because you make a play that's different from what everybody else does. This was conservative and smart, and I turned off 2 cards in his hand, and now he's going to have to work for this because he's going to play cautious. This guy's smart. So look what he does. Seal, tidying, pass. That's what he does. And you know why this is really smart? Because he's not playing into Shaddoll Fusion. He's really not. This can distribute itself for cost immediately. He's giving himself follow-up resources, and he's going to let his Phantasme and his tidying do some work for him. So he's not going to overcommit or overextend. So you can clearly see my opponent is not the average DRAGONLINK player. So when I see what he's doing, this is what I do. I go L Shaddoll Fusion on end phase. I use Construct, dump Hedgehog, dump Windy, summon Hedgehog. Then I'm going to Super Poly him. Summon a second Construct, add my L back, dump a Dragon and pop his Tidy. Draw Resh, flip Hedgehog, add Schism. Now I have multiple plays to make on his turn. So I'm going to poke him for some damage. Main phase 2, I'm just going to set. Look at that. I have L, I have Resh, and I have Schism. That's a lot for him to deal with. A lot. With Alpha, he can't deal with it all. So let's go ahead and fast forward here. He summons Alpha. He's going to immediately bounce. I let that resolve. And then I Resh on Resolution, summon Construct, get Squamata. Because now I know Alpha can only attack now. He can't bounce. So if he goes to battle phase, I don't die. He has to play into Shaddoll Fusion now. And I still have multiple ways to access Winda. I have not summoned a single Winda yet. And he's already burned Alpha. So now I'm sitting on a you have to attack over Winda kind of situation. Which means you're throwing your battle phase. So he summons Levy with Lights and Darks. Really smart. He forces my Schism. I chain L. I'm going to summon Winda here. And he's going to pop Cons. I get L back. And I get Windy. I dump Falco. And then set the Falco. That's just going to give me an extra body for more survivability. He attacks Winda first. Kind of. No, it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. So he's going to grab Boot. And now he's not going to full combo either. Look at how much resources he had to use to kind of systematically play around my back row. And look at my hand. My hand is just as full this turn as it was last time. I have bonus resources. So that's, again, a beauty of Shaddolls. The recovery in this deck is just phenomenal. The amount of resources that you can get in a plus-worthy play on top of recovering all the cards that you're utilizing and having self-sustaining ability, like just the self-sustaining ability of this deck and all of the replacing, like every card you're playing normally can replace itself. This right here is literally him getting out-grinded, and we haven't even started grinding yet. So we're fast-forwarding. I'm going to activate Shaddoll Fusion to force his Seal out. I don't want to play in his Seal if I don't have to. Summon Op, and I'm just going to go for game here. I believe I'm going for game. He's going to summon Brotar. Oh, I can't go for game because he has Brotar now. So I just smack his Brotar. Main phase 2, grab, because I saw he got rid of Phantasme, so I'm like, I'll play into it. If you have a second, you have a second. So I'm sitting on L, Resh, Falco, and Squam. He draws a second Alpha. That was unexpected, because here's what I did to his first Alpha. On summon, I summoned Op to negate it. And then he summons the second one. And I'm like, okay. And so here, I just gotta wait. So I wait for him to use his Red MD. I summon my Winda. I get my cards back. I grab Ariel off Op, and then I went after his grave. See that I banished specifically Brotar, his light attribute, and then his Phantasme. And then next, he's going to have to go Alpha here, add it back. Because there's no way, you guys, if you have to understand, when you see it, there was no way he wasn't going to outwind it no matter when I summoned it, because he had the second Alpha. So what I wanted to do was at least force him to play awkwardly, because he knew I had Winda. So I wanted to wait until the right time to summon it. I summoned it at I feel the right time. And now all he's going to be able to do is Romulus, get Ravine. And I have a face-down Squamata and a face-down Falco. So my follow-ups are there. He sends Chamber, but let me check his banished tier. Tidying's gone. Oh yeah, I banished his Tidying. That's right. I did banish his Tidying off my first aerial. So him sending Chamber didn't even... If I didn't banish his Tidying, he would have got another Tidying. So I think my plays... I don't really think I messed up in this match. Personally, I don't think I really messed up. The only thing I could have done better was game 2, just using Golden Lord to send the Super Poly. But I think I was going to lose that either way. So he's sending Safer now. He's going to space for Levy, draw. It's looking pretty good for me right now. So I flip my Op. This just turned into an awkward, grindy game state. But there's no way, and I'm telling you right now, I Golden Lord. So I set and he Super Polys because he knows I have Golden Lord. So I'm just clarifying that. There's no way possible that Dragon Link outgrinds Shaddolls, especially with having Ariel and Falco and Op. These are going to cover more grounds than all the Dragon cards can cover. So this was a really good game, you guys. This was an incredible match. We went into game 3, and it wasn't a blowout on either side. We had a lot of back and forth interaction, and these are the kind of matches that you definitely want to have, especially when you're playing for, we were playing for Forbidden Droplets. But yeah, you guys, that is going to wrap this up. I'm going to get this uploaded. I can't get anything edited right now, but you guys pretty much already told me you're okay with non-edited content, so I'm cool with it, and I want uploads. I want some consistency on my end so that you guys aren't left, you know, hungering or thirsting for more. So with that said, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Lord Jesus Christ. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord Jesus, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Father Jesus, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Thank you, Father. Amen. And yeah, the last thing that you guys were seeing, you obviously don't want to attack Romulus with Construct because she won't do damage. And I needed to do, you know, more than 25 damage. So that's why I structured the attacks. And if that wasn't game, I have not gone into Verde Anaconda yet. I think most Shaddol lists would have not made it this far because they wouldn't be playing that many Shaddol monsters. There's pros and cons to playing more than, I guess, 7 Shaddol monsters. The major upside is you're not going to burn out of your resources as quickly. And you have a higher chance of not only drawing a playable hand, but when you draw your fusions, in case your opponent like plays around Shaddol fusion, you know, you're not going to dead draw one, you'll still be able to activate it. And the only downside is when you draw a hand with more than one Shaddol in it. But with my list, I actually don't mind that because I pretty much like drawing multiple fusions, multiple dolls. That's how I like it. But yeah, you guys, this was, again, a phenomenal match. It definitely was incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and end it on a high note.